Dart skill presents adding and subtracting fractions. The key to adding and subtracting fractions is to rewrite each fraction on the same denominator, known as the least common multiple of the denominators or the least common denominators of the fractions, and then add or subtract the numerators only, keeping the same denominator. The final step, of course, is to simplify the resulting fraction to its lowest term. So if you want to add 3 7s with 2 7s, they're on the same denominator already, so you have a 7 on the bottom and you just add the numerators. Therefore, this is equal to 5 7s. But how do you add, let's say, 2/3 plus 3/4? The denominators are different. In this case, you need to find the LCM or the least common multiple of the denominators. It's also called the LCD, or the least common denominator of the two fractions. Now the LCM of 3 and 4 is 12. 12 is the smallest number that 3 and 4 both can go into. So the idea is to have a 12 here and 12 here, and then go on to apply the same rule. Now how can we change a 3 to a 12? Obviously by timesing it with 4. Now if you multiply the denominator of a fraction with 4, you got to do the same on the numerator. Similarly, you do a times 3 on this side. So the fractions that we have now is 8/12 for the first one, plus 9/12 for the second one. Now that they're on the same denominator, you could easily add the numerators up. 8 plus 9/12, which is 17/12. This is an improper fraction or a top-heavy fraction, so feel free to change it to a mixed number if you want to. 12 times 1 is 12, and therefore the remainder is 5 when 17 is divided with 12. So this is going to be 1 and 5/12. Let's have another one. Let's try and do 5 and 5/6, the mixed number, minus 2 and 1/2. And the first step is to change both of these numbers to the corresponding improper fractions. Well, there was another way to do that. Subtract the whole numbers and subtract the fractions. But let's do it the other way, changing both numbers to improper fractions. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 plus 5 is 35. So we have a 35/6 for 5 and 5/6, minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 seconds. The least common multiple of 6 and 2 is 6. Therefore, no need to change this fraction. It's still 35/6. And then if you want to change the 2 to a 6, you want to times it with 3. And then do the same on the numerator. So that we have a 15 on the top, 5 times 3 is 15, and a 6 on the bottom. And now we can go ahead and subtract the numerators. 35 minus 15 all over 6, which is equal to 20/6. And that can be simplified to divide 20 with 2 and 6 with 2. We have a 10/3, and that is 3 and 1/3 as a mixed number. Let's do one more. Let's do 4/5 minus 3/4 plus 1/3. The three denominators are different. Therefore, our first job is to find the least common multiple of 5, 4, and 3. And the least common multiple is 60, because 60 is the smallest number that all these three numbers can go into. So our job is to rewrite each one of these fractions as something over 60, with the plus or minus between them. Now if you look at 5 and if you look at 60, 5 times 12 is 60. So you multiply 5 with 12 to get to 60, and therefore you do the same with the numerator, which is 4. So we have a 48 over 60. That's equivalent to 4/5. Similarly, if you want to change 3/4 to something over 60, 4 times 15 is 60. So you want to multiply 3 with 15, and 3 times 15 is 45. And finally, 3 needs to be multiplied with 20 to get to 60. And 1 times 20 is 20. And now that we have all three fractions on the same denominator, the rest is easy. The common denominator is 60. Add or subtract the numerators. 48 minus 45 plus 20, which is equal to 23 over 60. And that cannot be simplified. Therefore, this becomes your final answer.